With the 2022 coming to a closing, marking the conclusion of the 11th year of Skyrim's existence, the yearly tradition of showcasing the best and most popular community-created mods has finally arrived, where we will overview the most downloaded creations separated by categories. We will start with the best combat mod of 2022, Precision Accurate Melee Collisions. From the author of the True Directional Movement comes another revolutionary mod that drastically changes certain elements of combat and introduces systems present in modern games, overhauling gameplay to be much more rewarding and satisfying to experience. The mod introduces accurate melee collisions by attaching precise colliders on the weapons wielded for a given duration, which will then collide with other actors or objects in the world space and will hit all targets it connects with during the swing. Additionally, weapon trails are introduced with interpolated positions, punishes bad positioning with surface recoils, and lastly adds hit stop, a minor camera shake and time slow for that satisfying hit detection experience. All of the benefits provided by this mod are completely controlled by the user, allowing custom adjustments in the mod configuration menu by being able to decrease, increase, or turn off their frequency. The mod became the pillar of combat setups in 2022, supports both third and first person, and drastically changes the way combat feels, especially if using custom animations. Weapon hits become impactful, actors accurately respond to collisions, resulting in more dramatic and thrilling combat experience. Precision is powered by Nemesis and works incredibly well alongside other popular combat mods like TDM, MCO, and others. Hero Wars is a fantasy role-playing hero collecting game with a cute and unique art style where players can fight enemies, join epic PvP arena battles, and collect the strongest heroes in their lineup to advance in their quest alongside 100 million players worldwide. Power up and train your heroes, unlock new and powerful skills, and forge skills to take on dungeon exploring and participate in fun events. In Hero Wars, everyone can find a character to suit themselves. There are cyborgs, aliens, vampires, and a plethora of other themed characters, making unlocking each a fun endeavor. Like Chaba, an awesome tank-focused hero that literally devours his enemies, or Celeste, a DPS-focused hero that switches between light and dark forms, making her useful in both DPS and other scenarios. Hero Wars being available on both iOS and Android, you find yourself playing it everywhere in subways, at lectures, and it's very easy to start. But assembling a perfect team of heroes requires some finesse and creative input in order to maximize efficiency and synergy between them, allowing you to take on even the most difficult opponents. For example, Mojo the Shaman can't heal Darkstar Elf as efficiently as Martha can, while the Slow Cleaver makes a great pair with Swift Isaac. Hero Wars is a world of 6 unique modes, more than 300 Guild Wars servers, and you can play alone or with your friends to find out who is the best. So, by clicking on the link in the description below, you can start playing right now and receive 30,000 coins, 600 emeralds, and 5 awesome heroes to start assembling your dream team. New sponsor, show them some love, click the link and start playing Hero Wars now. In 2022, 2 ENB presets stood out as files that will greatly improve your game's visuals, one being Patrician ENB. This preset is a high-quality fantasy preset that delivers dramatic visuals that draw inspiration from popular games like Witcher 3, and being built on Solus Weathers, provides superb gradients, lots of volumetric effects, custom raindrops, varied image spaces, vibrant colors, and solid subsurface scattering. Patrician ENB is exclusive to Lux, one of the best interior lighting overhauls, and is precisely edited to support it, providing dramatic but gameplay-friendly interior cells. While difficult to rival Rudy's ENB, interiors look quite nice and seem to favor red and green colors. The second preset would be Berserkyr ENB, and besides turning my Dunmer into a 15-year-old, interiors are a bit darker and red compared to Patrician, with higher contrast and lower brightness levels. But the main strength of this ENB are outdoors, and being supported by natural atmospheric Tamriel provides bright and gorgeous visuals. Berserkyr ENB doesn't shy away from being vivid and vibrant during the day, and favors cool tones for most weather IDs. Its color palette choice definitely leans towards fantasy and reminds me of AC Valhalla. Which one should you choose? Well, like any other preset, it comes down to a personal preference, and they both do a great job at presenting what they aim. They are both fantasy presets with similar goals but different implementation strategy, and provide Skyrim with incredible visuals and aesthetics. Unlocking powerful elemental forms, utilizing a new spell learning system, and thus radically transforming mage gameplay can be accomplished with Phenderix magic and elements, magic mods that let you control them in form of power-ups and auras. For example, a blood elemental form decreases players' health every second, but drastically buffs damage output while having restoration as primary magic skill. So using restoration spells from Magic Evolved like Sunray or Purifying Flames provides a double benefit to the caster. Fortify, Heal, and Resurrection spells synergize with any elemental form, opening room for many builds and paths. These elemental forms also provide utility to the caster, depending on the situation, making them useful in scenarios other than combat. For example, Water Elemental form is utility-based aura that allows the caster to trade their magicka for movement speed and water breathing, while also having 10% chance to avoid incoming damage, but increase vulnerability to shock spells. Fire, Ice, and Storm forms provide standard buffs and damage reduction to their respective elements, allowing casters to more potently focus on one specific element when building their characters. This means that when casting spells of elemental forms primary magic, you can gain double or triple the benefit, making character progression much more in-depth. After lengthy consideration, since this was the great year for Flora overhauls and mods that replaced trees and bushes, I decided to go with Nature of the Wildlands 2.0. Ever since its last appearance on this channel, this Flora overhaul received large-scale improvements by making forests even more diverse and dense. It adds over 300 new trees and plants made by using photogrammetry, while keeping the balance between performance and visuals. The mod firstly replaces every model for all biomes, after which it introduces amazing looking trees with massive canopies, and with its density and variety provides magical and fantasy visuals. There are many trees to choose from, but definitely my favorite would be the Weeping Willow, which perfectly fits the lakeside areas. Variety of trees being its major benefit, you'll definitely feel like you're always encountering new ones, and with its high density, you find yourself lost many times. The lush nature of these trees huddled together towering high in all forest areas made Falkreath almost unrecognizable. The winter areas are also overhauled by replacing the snow trees with new tall pines covered by fluffy snow that gives the region a fresh and cold fantasy look. These pines tower over the Pales Mountains, while the areas where snow and tundras connect are filled with more sinister and dead models. What about the Rift? Rift, being the most beautiful area, has been kept as close to original as possible, with pine's bark retaining their white and brown aspen colors, while canopies stretch higher and wider compared to the original models, once again increasing the forest density and aesthetic. Nature of the Wildlands is easily my favorite forest overhaul to date, and I will be using it for the foreseeable future as more updates are planned. Traveling all the way northeast of the province of Skyrim, where the icy haze blows bitter cold from the Sea of Ghosts, we will be checking out my favorite mod from this list, and one of the most incredible city overhauls, the Great City of Winterhold. The author of this city envisions that it's unlikely that a massive and important city rivaling Solitude in influence and power never got restored to its glory, and thus designed it by bridging the gap between the ancient Nordic architecture of Windhelm and the high medieval sophistication of Solitude. Winterhold, being nothing more than a village with 4 thatch huts, now has its glory restored in a grandiose way by introducing massive structures uniquely crafted by the author himself. The aim of this mod is to add immersion to every visit of Winterhold and add few nooks and crannies to explore. As mentioned, it features custom-made architecture inspired by Nordic theme and style, but also includes custom textures for complete consistency. All of this results in an incredible looking city, worthy of a visit for adventurers and scholars alike. This city mod also represents the modding community in the best light, as in collaboration with Janquil, Chassier, Gelinity and many others, the castle from the City of the North can be preserved and merged with this overhaul. This is why Skyrim's community is unmatched, showing collaborative effort like no other, providing us with amazing content to experience. As far as interiors are concerned, they're all adjusted to resemble the silhouette of the building, providing spacious and properly cluttered indoors. Everything has been overhauled, from Jarl's Longhouse, now a castle, a once small and empty Frozen Hearth Inn, even all the way to Birna's Oddments. Additionally, the new Winterhold's Guard Watchtower has been added as well, with many spacious rooms, dining areas and barracks to explore. All of these are once again supported by Lux through collaborative effort between at least 6 authors, resulting in one of the most impressive city overhauls to date. The title for the best animation mod has to go to an incredibly unique framework that introduces traversal never to be possible before in Skyrim, and that's of course EVG Animated Traversal. EVG adds new animation prompt markers that trigger handmade movement animations for the players to utilize. As this appeared relatively recently on this channel, I will keep it brief and ask those who are seeing it for the first time to check out my latest animations video where I go in full depth about this mod. All you need to know is that with this framework and additional mods created by the community, backtracking mechanics and vertical traversal is now possible for a more engaging and fresh gameplay experience. This mod primarily focuses on obstacle navigation with designated objects, and you will be able to physically interact with ladders, cramped spaces, ledges and other appointed objects. The goal of EVG Animated Traversal is not to disregard platforming, but to expand on complex level design, and is inspired by layout games like Resident Evil. As it's a yearly tradition to do these videos, it also became a yearly occurrence to include mods by this author that relentlessly is overhauling every possible interior cell found in the game. That is of course JK's Interiors, and after finishing all shops and inns, is now tackling guild headquarters and beyond. First, Bard's College has been overhauled by adding properly placed clutter around the cell, while not overdoing it at the same time. Location and the purpose of this building has been taken into account when adding new clutter, and none of them feel out of place, but rather further enrich the opulent feel of the college. Jorrvaskr has been overhauled as well, and received similar treatment. The place has been enriched with Nordic and warrior-themed clutter appropriate for the cell, and though simply implemented, drastically improves the whole look. Plus, goes without saying that chandelier made out of mammoth's tusk looks incredible indeed. The monastery of High Hrothgar has also been improved a tiny bit. Since Greybeards seek to live in absolute silence and in very modest environments, it felt like overhauling this area could be swing and a miss. But the author kept the area modest, with only slight improvements, which I was very pleased to see. Castle Dower is another Solitude cell reorganized by the series of these mods, and is done in a way where all Imperial themed objects have been scattered throughout the castle, while once again not cramping it with a bunch of useless clutter. Enchanting and Alchemy room has been added, as well as a neat reception area. And lastly, and completely opposite from what previous interiors overhauls aim to do, JK's Sinus Outpost goes way to the extreme when changing the cell. From a completely empty ice cavern to a fully fledged Dwemer lab, you decide whether this is something appropriate for your mod list, and this elderly scholar driven mad by Dwemer artifacts. A question, do you want to see a part 2? There is at least another 5 to 7 mods that felt appropriate for this list, but I didn't want this video ending up being too long. Please let me know down in the comments below, I'd really love to hear your thoughts, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. Other than that, please make sure to support all authors and their mods by clicking that endorse button, and if you want to support the channel's work, you can do so by pledging to my Patreon and at the same time access my ENB tweaks, mod lists and followers. An incredible year for Skyrim modding, and what's even better than that, 2023 is looking to be even greater. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.